Have you heard? It's truck news.
Oh, hell no. The Truck Show. We're gonna show you what we know. We're gonna answer what the truck, 'cause truck rhymes with the Truck Show. We have the lifted, we have the lowered, and everything in between. We'll talk about trucks that run on diesel, electricity, and on gasoline. The Truck Show, the Truck Show, the Truck Show. Oh, oh.
It's the Truck Show with your host, Holman.
The Truck Show podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors. AMSOIL launched the industry's first synthetic motor oil back in 1972, and AMSOIL continues to innovate with a wide selection of synthetics that are formulated, blended, and packaged right here in the United States. These specialized lubricants are engineered for what you drive and how you drive. AMSOIL's Shop by Vehicle tool offers package size recommendations to maximize savings and includes AMSOIL's Ultimate Oil Change Kits. AMSOIL offers the protection you demand and the performance you deserve. Get yours today at AMSOIL.com. The perfect complement to your truck is a Kershaw knife. All Kershaw knives come with a limited lifetime warranty, and repair parts are readily available through the website. Kershaw knives include lifetime sharpening, and the lineup has everything from EDC knives that can be used and abused for under $50 all the way up to high-end collectibles. Thanks to our generous partnership with Kershaw Knives, Truck Show podcast listeners can get 40% off MSRP and free shipping over $50 by using the code 2TSP2025. It can be used more than once and even includes automatics. Visit kershaw.kaiusa.com today. When it comes to amazing vehicle-based adventure content, how-tos, and great storytelling, only one brand is doing it right in the print magazine space, and that's OVR, Outdoor Vehicle Recreation. OVR is about getting out there in our vehicles to explore and discover the world around us. Get complimentary access for a year to the digital library or a discount on your print subscription today at OVRmag.com. Use the promotional code at Truck Show Podcast. The Truck Show Podcast survives off of sponsorships and your reviews. Please help me to keep it free by supporting our sponsors and leaving reviews and comments on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Have you heard?
Welcome to Barnes and No!
Oh, you haven't? Well, there is a ton of truck news this week. It's funny, the last few weeks, there's a period of time here in the summer where things slow down and you just don't have as much news and trying to put it all together. Well, guess what? Things are back in swing and there's a ton of stuff going on right now. So let's start with one of my favorite stories of the week, and this is something that I've known about a little bit for a while now, but I didn't know all the details. This week, Nissan and Roush Performance just got together on a collab and dropped a brand new Frontier dubbed the Pro 4XR, the R standing for Roush. And you guys know how much we love the Frontier on this show. It's a great, simple pickup truck. It has everything you need, nothing you don't, all the modern tech, but it's a V6 automatic, no turbos, no hybrid, all the stuff. Super reliable, just a great all-around truck. But the problem is a little bit undertired and a little bit low. And there's just a couple things, a couple tweaks it needs to really be a great truck. Well, this is pretty awesome. So they take a Frontier, and the entry-level price is $47,960. For that, you get basically a base model Pro 4X with a convenience package. Get Roush tuned and validated 2-inch aluminum-bodied Öhlins coilover shocks in the front with reservoirs, and reservoir shocks in the rear, a 2-inch lift, Roush-designed upper control arms, a set of absolutely gorgeous titanium-hued 17-inch wheels, some Roush branding, and then titanium accents on the outside of the vehicle. Some people were a little bit upset that the powertrain wasn't supercharged. It's still the same 310 horsepower, 3.8-liter V6, and 9-speed. And I was a little bit bummed that the tire size remains the same, so it's a 265 70/17. So that's the same as the base Pro 4X. However, because of the 2-inch lift and the new wheels, the stance looks great. As much as I would have loved to see a blower or would love to see bigger tires, I know exactly what Nissan's doing here. They are fading toward more enthusiast-oriented vehicles and less about the commodities. And partnering with Roush was their way of kind of putting their toe in the water and saying, listen, we think this is what our customer base wants. We think this will elevate the Frontier, but we don't really have the resources or I don't know if it's necessarily the stomach for it right now, for a full development. So they say we're going to do this Roush overlay package where you can buy from the dealer your Pro 4X and send it out to Roush. Everything's covered, 336 warranty. And this is their first step into doing something cool. Well, this is really cool. So aside from those things, the tire size and the same powertrain, which is fine. It's fine. Here's what it is. It's not that much of a premium over the base Pro 4X at $41,770. The Roush package will include Pro 4X models with the convenience package, which is $2,190, but you can also option it with the Pro Premium package, which includes leather, Fender audio, that kind of stuff, for $3,080. The Roush upfit will cost $650 for a Roush R Prep package. That's basically paying for the labor and transportation to the Roush facility. And the R upgrade itself, all the stuff I just mentioned, only $3,800. Pretty decent deal. So I can't wait to drive it. I think this is going to be a big winner for Nissan. It's the buzz around the Frontier that they need. They needed something a little bit above Pro 4X. This is going to do it. I think the price is really fair. But man, the wheels are freaking gorgeous. I love them. They are just, the whole truck is like, for as simple as it is, hey, we put better shocks on it. And we have upper control arm to make sure that you get the right alignment and handling and all that. Oh, and we did some Roush, badging, and we give you these pretty well, $3,800. That's a pretty good deal, and you get the full warranty. So I am fully supportive of the new Nissan Pro 4XR, which is done in collaboration with Roush. Kudos to you guys. I can't wait to get behind the wheel, and I can't wait to bring you guys my impressions when I get behind the wheel. It looks really good. So here's one that's certain to get your blood boiling. It's not truck related, but it is industry related. Fortunately, this is with Volkswagen over in Europe. Doesn't really impact us yet. If you guys remember, we went back and talked about, I think it was BMW was offering a subscription service to turn on your heated seats, basically making you pay for something the vehicle already had installed. We've talked about how Teslas come with a lot of features on them that a extra Benjis to them will unlock. Well, apparently on the new ID3 Pro, it's a new electric vehicle. Think of it like an electric Golf GTI. Volkswagen is locking their horsepower behind a subscription fee. And that basically sucks. So there's other companies that have done this, but specific to this, for either $22 a month, $211 a year, or $880 outright, you can get yourself more power. The standard ID3 Pro and Pro S have 201 horsepower, but unlocking it through the subscription gives you the full 228 horsepower output. And Volkswagen's fine print says customers can activate the optional power upgrade for a fee. What do you guys think about this? I'm so tired of subscriptions. Everything is a subscription. I don't want it going to my car. I hope this is a massive, massive learning experience for Volkswagen not to do this. I don't know that I could buy a car that unlocks features already on it for additional fee than when I paid for it. I don't know. What do you guys think? truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. So back to Nissan. Apparently, they just had a dealer conference in Las Vegas where Nissan told the dealers that something's happening, something we've been wanting for a long time, and that is the return of the Nissan Xterra. Possibly as soon as the 2028 model year. And it sounds like they're looking at the Toyota 4Runner and Ford Bronco, and it's going to be body on frame. And there was some speculation earlier, it's just going to be a unibody and go after the Honda Passport and Pilot and things like that. So according to Automotive News, it'll likely be a V6 hybrid, which is probably not a bad choice. And it will be built at the same Canton, Mississippi plant where it builds the Frontier. So my guess is that the two of them will share a platform, just like they have in the past. And it could be the return of the Xterra. And for those of you who don't know, if you haven't shopped in that market, the Xterra, especially the off-road model, was the underrated competitor to the 4Runner. But in many ways, just like the Frontier was to the Tacoma at that time in the 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9 until the production ended, it had a fully boxed frame, the F-Alpha platform, rear disc brakes, And obviously they didn't sell as many of them, and they put it out of production. Well, it's a really good off-road. In fact, I believe it won four-wheeler SUV of the year once or twice because we liked it so much. And it's an incredible vehicle, but the people in the used car market, the secondary market, have figured it out, because if you price a Nissan Xterra thinking that you're going to pay a lot less than a 4Runner, it's just not happening. At least here where we are in Southern California, it is incredibly hard to find an off-road version of a Nissan Xterra. And when you do, especially in nice shape, you're paying a premium for that vehicle because people know what a great vehicle it was, and they're somewhat rare just because they didn't build as many of them. And a lot of people who've experienced the Xterra or want a Toyota 4Runner alternative or like the Frontier/Xterra platform, they've been waiting for this. And the Xterra was cool because it's kind of funky. The styling was cool. It had the kind of like stadium roof bump up and the geometric kind of rear window shape and the blistered fenders. I mean, it was just a great looking vehicle that performed really well off-road, and, rear locker and full skid plating and all that stuff. And there is some aftermarket around the last generation one. But I am super excited to see the Xterra come back because this is a vehicle that I think a lot of people are waiting for. I loved it when it was here. I was sad to see it go. I always thought it was a mistake, and apparently Nissan realizes, you know what, we need to get that back. So Xterra on the way. The new 2026 Jeep Wagoneer has been spotted with its new front fascia, which mimics the Wagoneer S electric vehicle. And it's amazing what that kind of angular Wagoneer S vibe looks like on the front of the big old Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer. I think it looks really cool. Definitely very, very much different than an Escalade or a Navigator. It doesn't have as much of a Ram vibe to it because, of course, they're on the same platform. Looks thoroughly modern and fits more in line with the Wagoneer styling than the direction the Grand Cherokee is going to be going. I think it looks really nice. If you go online and look for 2026 Jeep Wagoneer Spied, you'll be able to see the new fascia, and I think it looks pretty cool, and I think that's going to turn a lot of heads for Jeep on the Wagoneer model lineup. And here's one for you Toyota fans who have wondered, why doesn't Toyota have a Maverick competitor? Well, it turns out they're currently working on one. So Ford Maverick hit the scene in 2022 and promptly sold out quickly, and they're hard to come by, huge markups. It started at just under $20,000 and has become a darling of first-time truck buyers or people who need a pickup truck but don't need a body-on-frame. It's a unibody compact pickup truck. And aside from, I guess it would be the Hyundai Santa Cruz, that's the only real competitor in its class, there's nothing really in that size and at that price point. Well, Motor Trend is telling us that Toyota is going to absolutely be adding a compact pickup truck in the near future, and it will slot beneath the Tacoma. And it'll be interesting to see what platform it's on. My guess is it'll be unibody, not body on frame, but Toyota's thinking they could sell around 100,000 plus a year. And it'll be very interesting to see how the market would respond to a Toyota hybrid unibody pickup truck that's around $30,000. So it looks like it's about 2 years out. Obviously, some things can change in the meantime, but it's definitely being put out there that Toyota is coming after the Maverick, and that should be great for both companies. So the internet was set on fire when last week that the 2026 Ram Dakota Nightfall concept was shown in Brazil, and it looks like a baby 1500 TRX. It's actually really cool looking. The styling seems to be exactly what you would hope a midsize pickup truck would look like, and it is body on frame. It's basically based on a Peugeot, which is a pickup truck called the Landtrek, but that's also based on the Changan Caixin F70 Chinese pickup truck. And that has a wheelbase of 125 inches. And our friends over at TFL reached out to Ram and asked if it would be coming to North America, if this was a preview of the Dakota that we would see here. And they were told no, which makes sense because it's a little bit short of what would be expected in that class. So most of the midsize trucks in that kind of crew cab are around 131, 132, 133 inches or so. And so it sounds like we're going to definitely be getting our own Dakota pickup truck and not the one that is based on a Chinese model for South America. And not that I want a Chinese-based pickup truck, but from a styling standpoint, I think this is a really good hint at what it could possibly be. Just Google Dakota Nightfall concept and you'll see. I think it looks really good. The proportions are just right. It's got that big old Ram grill. It's got the blistered fenders also and the big fender flares and off-road tires, TRX looking wheels, all that kind of stuff. Even the hood scoop with the 3 lights in it. It's cool. But that's not going to be the truck for the U.S. So for those of you who are constantly getting bombarded with, here's the future Ram Dakota and blowing up, Instagram and all that stuff, that is not the truck that we're going to get. But it probably is a nice little tease at what is to come. Here's another win for the good guys, or at least the car guys. The EPA has basically told manufacturers to stop forcing limp mode for low DEF situations. And so I don't know how they're going to implement it or what's going to happen, but the EPA basically is undoing a ton of regulations and directives and all that kind of stuff. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin is telling truck and engine manufacturers, stop putting on these limp modes where speed and power gets cut off because your DEF is low. And that was announced at the Iowa State Fair. And obviously that's an event where you've got lots of ag there. But he called the software-imposed restrictions, quote, unquote, unacceptable and unnecessary. And I know all of us have hated that since it was implemented. So Zeldin's quote continues, "We have heard loud and clear from small businesses across the United States that the current DEF system is unacceptable. It's unacceptable that farmers, truckers, construction workers, and many other small businesses continually experience failures of diesel-powered equipment when they need it most, costing millions of dollars in lost productivity. Today, we are responding to those concerns by calling on manufacturers to take action to update their software and eliminate the unnecessary sudden loss of power and frustrating shutdowns that too many Americans have experienced." So what's interesting is that manufacturers were never mandated by the federal government to do this limp mode, but they used it to prevent people from running the vehicle's equipment without it. So the Drive did a little bit of a deeper dive, and so to the article on the Drive, they say new EPA requirements taking effect for the model year 2027, so that's just basically a model year and a half away, will state that new diesel trucks for road use can't be engineered to force sudden and severe power loss after running out of DEF. There still will be engine derating as part of it, but it's not going to be this immediate thing. So heavy-duty semis, drivers will still be able to run for a full day on low DEF before performance is restricted by 15%. And after about 4 weeks, the top speed of the semis will be limited to about 25 miles per hour. If you're in a heavy-duty pickup truck, it'll be limited to 45 miles per hour after 4,200 miles or 80 hours with low DEF levels. So it's not going away, but at least you don't have to have this sudden thing where it's an emergency and you have to find DEF. You've got a little bit of a grace period there. The Drive did reach out to Ford and General Motors as well as Ram for comment. So stay tuned to the Drive and our buddy Caleb Jacobs over there. He's tracking that right there. And I think that's great news for all truck owners everywhere, because I always thought it was an awful way that all of a sudden you have this truck and you may be in a situation, you're on the trail, you're in a different city. I've been to stations where they're out of DEF. What do you do? And that's no longer going to be the case, which is awesome. Have you heard about this one? Well, let's find out. Hennessy is launching a supercharged Chevy Silverado, and they're calling it the H600. And so basically you get 600 horsepower. Starting with the Silverado 1500 package, you get a supercharger that boosts factory power of the 6.2-liter V8 from 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque to 625 horsepower and 611 pound-feet of torque. On top of that, you get lowered coilover suspension, traction bars, rear sway bar, bigger brakes, 22-inch wheels, and so you get a nice stance and a great wheel and tire package to go with all of the awesome performance. And with that supercharger, you also get, it's a twin-screw air-to-water intercooler, Hennessy engine management calibration, and it says to do gnarly burnouts, which I hope it can. And it also gets a stainless steel exhaust system that gives it a bark that tells you that something special is under the hood, which, of course, we all love. On the outside, the design is tasteful. It's not overly done with Hennessy graphics or anything. On the inside, they also upgraded it with leather and suede. And the whole thing still gets the factory-back 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty, which is not too shabby for a 600-horsepower pickup truck. I love that manufacturers are bringing back these sport trucks, and I've said it on the show, sport trucks are coming back. Not everybody needs to go off-road. I mean, I do, but some of you just want to go fast and do gnarly burnouts, and I'm here for it. So a big announcement came out of Ford in the past week or so, and that's what they're calling their Model T moment. They're investing a massive $5 billion in American manufacturing, which will secure 4,000 jobs at the Louisville assembly plant in the Blue Oval Battery Park in Michigan. And as part of that, they're going to be able to create what they're calling the Universal EV Production System. Ford is saying that they're going to be able to build vehicles 40% faster, which in turn is going to help lower the cost of the vehicles. And Ford's battery technology will use what's called a advanced prismatic lithium iron phosphate chemistry, which will serve as the vehicle's subassembly, and floor will be structural. And that technology will be free of cobalt and nickel, so it'll save space, weight, cost, all that good stuff, and also lower the center of gravity. So because it's using this universal EV platform that's designed to reduce the complexity, Ford is touting things like the truck's wiring harness will be 4,000 feet shorter than the harness used in the first electric SUV, which also reduced weight and cost, and that the new architecture reduces parts by 20%, fasteners by 25%, and workstations by 40% compared to how they typically build a vehicle on a linear line. So that's definitely reimagined from how vehicles are built today, which they've been building since the Model T. The pickup truck will come first. We think it's going to be called Ranchero, and it's said to have a starting price of around $30,000, but it won't be a stripped-out vehicle like the Slate is. It'll be a pretty well-equipped vehicle, and it'll slot somewhere below the Maverick, probably in the lineup, and will be Maverick-sized or a little bit smaller. So at least for me, there's two things I'm pulling out of this that's cool. Is number one is the first vehicle on this new architecture is going to be a pickup truck. And then the second thing about it is they're completely reimagining this way of assembling them, where you have, instead of a linear production line today where you have to struggle to get a dashboard inside a structure, Ford's talking about having 3 separate lines that run in parallel, each taking a different part of the vehicle and then merging them all together at the end of the production line. So anyway, lots more to come on that. If you're excited for a $30,000 electric pickup truck, then you might want to wait till 2027 when Ford says the assumed Ranchero will be coming out. One other thing to point out that might be cool, a $30,000 EV pickup truck might be really good for fleets and things like that, just from the standpoint of the maintenance is so much less on an EV. So the pickup truck in that sense might make sense, and it being a compact to midsize, it's not going to have huge towing or payload numbers, which also means that you're not going to have the drawbacks of a bigger EV truck like you do on the F-150 Lightning. So I'm interested to see if a smaller electric truck, because you aren't towing something that big and you aren't hauling around something that big, maybe that is a perfect use case for EV. So we'll see. More to come on that, and we'll keep you up to date. All right, before we go, let's check in on some recalls.
Check engine light just went on. Noise under the hood ticks like a bomb. Recall covers metal, glass, leather, and plastic. Door handle pulled off in my hand. Just fantastic.
So there's a story that was out that says Ford is not happy with its current level of recalls. Yeah, you think? It says that for 2025 model year, their initial quality has improved, but many of the recalls issued this year are part of the intensive strategy to quickly find and fix hardware and software issues and go the extra mile to help protect customers. And that came from Ford's Chief Operating Officer, Kumar Galhotra. And it says that Ford is leveraging AI solutions to improve parts traceability to help minimize recalls, catching things early, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at everything, it's kind of tough because Ford so far, at least at the time of this recording, has issued 104 recalls this year. And that's just in the first 8 months of the year. And that recalls more than 2 million vehicles. And we still got some months to go. So it's been a little bit tough for Ford. And if you're curious who number 2 is this year, Forest River, the RV manufacturer, is second with 23 recalls, and Chrysler with 21. So that's kind of how the top 3 break down on recalls. So it sounds like Ford's making progress into cleaning that up. Hopefully they'll be able to remove themselves from recall talk here on the Truck Show podcast. Have you heard? All right, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Truck Show podcast. Have you heard? Don't forget to follow us on social, at Truck Show Podcast, at Sean P. Holman, or send us an email, truckshowpodcast@gmail.com. And, of course, we want to thank our sponsors, AMSOIL, Kershaw Knives, and OVR Magazine. Of course, you can go to the website, truckshowpodcast.com, where you can also get discount codes to buying some of those products, and that's under the Featured Products tab on the main page. Thanks for listening, and let's do it again soon.
The Truck Show Podcast is a production of Truck Famous LLC. This podcast was created by Sean Holman and Jay Tillis, hosted by Sean Holman, and uses production elements by DJ Omar Khan and Jay Tillis. If you like what you've heard, please open your Apple Podcast or Spotify app and leave us a 5-star review. And if you're a fan, there's no better way to support the show than by sharing it and patronizing our sponsors. Some vehicles may have been harmed during the making of this podcast.